Some faceless YouTube channels are pulling in over $30,000 a month, and the person running them never appears on camera, never builds a personal brand, and in some cases, never even records their own voice. That's not a loophole. That's a business model that's quietly eating the influencer economy alive. Here's what's strange about this. For years, conventional wisdom said you needed a face, a personality, a following, something people could attach to. But the data from 2025 and into 2026 tells a completely different story. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why that shift happened, how these channels are structured, and this is the part most people miss, why faceless channels actually have a structural earnings advantage that personal brands can never replicate. We'll get to that in a minute because it genuinely changes how you think about this. First, let's talk about scale. The average mid-tier influencer, someone with 500,000 subscribers, a recognizable face, years of content, earns somewhere between $3,000 and $8,000 a month from AdSense alone. Now compare that to a faceless finance channel that launched 18 months ago, sits at 200,000 subscribers, and is clearing $12,000 to $18,000 a month. Same platform, fewer subscribers, no face, more money. How? The answer comes down to something called RPM, revenue per thousand views. And this is where faceless channels have been quietly playing a completely different game. Personal lifestyle channels, beauty content, daily vlogs, they tend to attract general audiences. Advertisers pay low CPMs for those eyeballs. But faceless channels almost always operate in high-value niches: personal finance, investing, software tutorials, real estate, business strategy. Advertisers in those spaces will pay $15, $25, sometimes $40 per thousand views because the person watching is probably about to make a financial decision. That's a buyer, not a browser, and brands pay a premium to get in front of buyers. So right away, you have a channel earning 3 to 5 times more per view than a lifestyle influencer with double the audience. But that's only the first layer. Here's the thing about faceless channels that doesn't get talked about enough. They scale like software, not like people. When your channel is built around your face and your personality, your output is capped by your energy, your mood, your life circumstances. You get sick, the channel slows down. You go through a rough patch, viewers notice. Your personal life becomes content, and that's exhausting. But a faceless channel, the content pipeline is a system. Many of these operators are running 3 or 4 channels simultaneously, each in a different niche, each generating independent revenue. One person, 4 income streams, none of them dependent on how photogenic they feel on a Tuesday morning. That's the scalability angle.
But there's a third layer here that's even more interesting, and it's the reason I said faceless channels have a structural advantage that personal brands can never match. Keep that in mind because we're building to it. Let's talk about what actually makes these channels work in 2026. AI tools have completely changed the production cost equation. A faceless channel in 2024 still required a decent budget for voiceover artists, video editors, and scriptwriters. In 2026, the operators running these channels are using AI-generated voices that pass for human, AI video editing pipelines that cut production time by 60 to 70%, and script generation tools that handle research and first drafts in minutes. The result is a channel that can publish 4 to 5 videos a week for a fraction of what it cost 2 years ago. And YouTube's algorithm doesn't care who made the video. It only cares about watch time, click-through rate, and engagement. Faceless channels are increasingly optimized for exactly those metrics because they're run by people who think like product managers, not content creators. Now here's where it gets genuinely surprising. Think about what happens to a personal brand when the person behind it burns out, gets canceled, or simply wants to stop. The channel dies. The revenue dies with it. Years of work, an audience of hundreds of thousands, gone, or at best in slow decay. But a faceless channel? It's an asset. It can be sold. And this is the structural advantage I mentioned earlier. There's an entire marketplace, platforms like Flippa and Empire Flippers, where faceless YouTube channels trade for 30 to 40 times their monthly net profit. A channel making $5,000 a month in net profit doesn't just pay you $60,000 a year. It's worth $150,000 to $200,000 as a sellable asset. Personal brand channels almost never sell because the audience followed a person. You can't transfer that. Faceless channels by design have no such limitation. The brand is a topic, not a person. And that makes it a transferable, sellable, scalable business in a way that a personal brand fundamentally is not. This changes the entire calculus. You're not just building a content channel, you're building an asset with a calculable exit value from day one. That's not how most creators think, but it's exactly how the people quietly out-earning influencers are thinking. So let's bring this together. Why are faceless channels out-earning influencers in 2026? 3 compounding reasons. 1. They operate in high RPM niches where advertisers pay a premium, generating more revenue per view than lifestyle content ever will. 2. They're systems, not personalities. They scale horizontally across multiple channels and are immune to the personal burnout cycle that eventually kills most individual creator careers. And 3. They're assets with real exit value. A faceless channel is a business you can sell. A personal brand is a job you can't quit without losing everything.
The most successful operators in this space aren't chasing fame. They're not trying to go viral. They're running quiet, efficient content businesses that compound over time. And in 2026, that approach is winning by a wider margin than most people realize. If this made you think differently about how YouTube actually works as a business, there are a lot more videos on this channel that go just as deep. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.